Welcome, welcome. My name is Gillian Rouge. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm so glad you're here today. I'm going to be making this cute card, this Get Well card, using the Speedy Recovery stamp set right here. This is a stamp set that's in the new annual catalogue. It's on page 76, I believe. And again, here's one of the cards, sending well wishes your way. And it opens like this. And then I have this kind of pretty pastel one also. I did put a little box of Kleenex inside, wishing you a speedy recovery. Now, I do want to give credit for this fold to a demonstrator. Her name is Sherry Roth, and I believe she's the one that came up with this fold. She calls it a diagonal gatefold card. And I do like it because it's a little bit different, but I like that it still will stand up. I'm a bit funny about fun fold cards. I like them if they stand up, and this one certainly does. So anyway, let me show you how to make it. I'm going to do a black and white version today, but I'm going to do this design on the front. So, but let me show you actually which papers I used for this version. I actually used the Tea Boutique 6x6 designer series paper. And I thought this paper here went really well with the little leaves in the vase. So I used 2 pieces of paper from this. But for the black and white version, I am going to use the perfectly penciled designer series paper. This comes, I've got a 6x6 sample here, but this comes as a 12x12 pack. You get 12 sheets, 2 of each, 2 of each of 6 designs, so you get pretty florals on one side on a white background, and if I flip them over it's darker, mostly black backgrounds on the back and some kind of geometric designs, so they contrast really well together, so they're perfect for, you can use the front of one and the back of another, which is what I'm going to do. So let me pull in all my pieces now. You do need quite a lot of different pieces, and I'll go over those with you. So I'm going to start out with my card base, which is just a regular 5.5 by 8.5 piece of basic white thick, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And I need to do a little cutting. I'm going to cut down, just going to bring in my trimmer, and to make that diagonal fold, what I'm going to do is I want to cut away this part. So I'm just going to line up my score line here and the point of the card front. Let's just get it really lined up well. And then I'm just going to trim that piece off, and I can save this piece for later. The rest of the cutting I have already done. So that's my card front, and then I've got lots of other little pieces. So for the inside, I've got a black matte layer. Now you could leave this out if you wanted. If you don't want to do a matte layer, you don't have to. I think it does look nice with the different layers, but you could definitely skip this layer. If you were going to skip the black matte layer, what I would do is I would do the card base in black. Otherwise you're going to have white on white. So what I would do is I would skip, if I was skipping the black layer, I would have the card base and this piece in black. So I've got 2 pieces of basic black, and one of them, so these are 4 and 5 1/4, and what I've done is I've cut one in half diagonally, so it was like this. So I just need one piece. I'm going to put the other to one side. I've got a piece of designer series paper that's going to go right here. I've got, this is going to go on the front. So I've got another piece of designer series paper that again was, this piece was 3 7/8 by 5, and I cut that in half diagonally. I'll put the other piece to one side. And then for the little panel inside, this piece is 3 by 8, scored at 4. These black pieces are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I've got 2 of them, And then my white pieces for my stamping are let's see, what are those? 2 5/8 by 3 5/8. You need 2 of those. But again, I will put all the measurements under my video. Okay, so I'm going to do some stamping, and what I found with these stamps is, although I'm using black and white paper, when I tried stamping them in black, I had a hard time getting them even. They're kind of cool. They're like almost like a distinctive stamp. This one stamp stamps the lighter area and the darker area, and again on the Kleenex you get the lighter area and the darker. And I was having trouble getting this grey area really even with my black pad. I think it's just the type of ink pad it is. So I'm using basic grey today, and that seems to work really well. And I'm going to do this design. So I am going to do some masking here. So Stampin' Up has this new masking paper that I got so excited about because I love doing masking. So I'm going to grab a piece of that. My piece that I was using got a bit, let's see, is that going to be big enough? Got a bit, it's kind of run out of stick stamp. So when you're masking, your brain kind of tells you a little bit backwards. When you're masking, you need to stamp the image that's in the front, in the foreground first, and cover that up, and then stamp the objects behind. And our brain kind of tells us the opposite. We think of putting something in there. I think it's because if we were laying stuff down, we would put the stuff down in the background first and then the layer with the top pieces. But we need to kind of think backwards. So I'm going to stamp the cup twice. I'm going to stamp it once on my white piece, and then I'm going to stamp it on my masking paper. In fact, I'll do my masking paper first. So that's that, and then I'm going to stamp on my white piece. Just like that. See how nicely that stamps? Then I need to just cut out my cup. Now, I only really need to worry about the top, this area, because nothing's going to be stamped down here. So I really just going to cut out, so it makes it easy. I'm just going to cut out the top part. And when you're cutting out, you want to just go just slightly inside the outline. So I'm kind of cutting inside that black line. I'm going to cut down the side, and that's really all I need to do, because I'm really only worried about this little part here. So then I can peel this off. It's very thin, sticky paper, and it's on a backing. So I'm just going to peel the backing off. And this is very sticky, which you want, because you want to be able to do things like watercolor techniques and that, and not have the water seep underneath. But it is very sticky, which makes it a little hard to peel off again. So what I always do is, the first time I use it, I just tap it on my clothing. Like if I've got jeans on, or right now I've got a pair of shorts, I'm just tapping it on the shorts just to take a little bit of that sticky off. And then I'm going to just stick it down onto my, I'm just going to trim off this little piece here where I can still see the outline. And I'm just going to set it inside the outline of my stamped image. And I'm going to make sure this is pressed firmly down, but I can kind of leave this poking up, and that way it'll be easy to peel off. Then I'm going to take my vase, and I'm just making sure it's cleaned off because I had used it earlier. And I'm going to ink that up with the basic grey, and then I'm just going to stamp overlapping. Oops, that didn't stamp very well. I'm going to redo that. I think I'm going to take off the mask. Didn't get a very good image there. So let's try again. And clean off my stamp. Sometimes that happens, right? That's why we've got two sides to every paper. Let's try again. Stamp on my cup. Take my mask, put it on. It curls up a little bit, but that's okay. Just put it back down over my cup. Maybe I didn't have it inked up properly, I'm not sure. Or maybe I didn't hold it down firmly enough. So this time I'm going to try again. And I'm really going to press firmly. Oh, that looks much better, doesn't it? Let's peel off the mask and have a look. Oh, that looks perfect. Yeah, I think I just didn't hold it down. Let's compare. Just didn't hold it down, I don't think, quite with firmly and nice even pressure. Now this I can save, and what I actually do, I'll show you how I store them. I actually keep them inside my stamp case. This one's, they're kind of ready to retire. I think they're kind of running out of stick. But this paper here is the backing of the images that you put on the back of your stamp. So what I do is I just keep that, I cut it in half, and then I can just stick this. It doesn't stick perfectly, but there we go. And then I've got it ready for another time. Right, now I do need to still do a couple of other things. I need to stamp the spoon. And I'm grabbing a piece of paper just because I'm going to go off the edge. I don't want to stamp on my counter. So I'll stamp the spoon here. Like that. And I'm going to stamp on my inside sentiment, which is going to say, wishing you a speedy recovery. So I'm going to do that kind of towards the top, like that. And the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, let's see, do I have a little scrap? I'm going to stamp a box of Kleenex. There is my Kleenex stamp to go kind of under the flap. I'll just cut that out. Oops, again, that didn't stamp very well. Let's have another go. You want to, because these are like a solid stamp, you want to really make sure you get them inked up well. Oh, much better. All right, so I think that's all the stamping done now. It's just a matter of assembling, and so I'll cut out that Kleenex box in just a minute. So let's grab all the pieces back. So it's a really pretty easy card once you've got all your pieces organized. So let's do some assembly. So this piece is going to go on here. Let's grab my, oh, that's pretty, isn't it? So I just picked two kind of nice contrasting pieces. Thought these two went well together. So the back of one and then the front of the other. And then this goes inside. Like that. And then I'll put the pieces on the front. So this is going to go, okay, like that. You can use whatever glue you like, obviously. You can use liquid glue if you like. I just find this is a bit quicker for a video. Oops, I'm a little bit off there, but close enough. And then this goes onto here. Let's make sure this is the right size. Yes, that's going to be good. This thing, the assembly is taking almost longer than the stamping, right? Whoops. Come back. Okay. There we go. Now we just have to do the little inside piece. So I've got my 2 pieces of basic black. One for the front and one for the inside. Whoa! It's got a mind of its own. Like that. And then, let's see, this piece is going to go on the front. This piece on the inside. So there wasn't really room to put a sentiment on this version on the front. On the other one I did, I'll show that to you again in a moment. So now this is going to go here. Now you just got to make sure that you have it, if you center it in here, it should be just about right. You just want to make sure that this flap is going to close properly. If you do it too low, you know you're going to run into problems. So let's put some, and actually here liquid glue might be good, because that way I can have a little bit of time to move it around if I need to. So maybe liquid glue is good here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center it, and then before I push it down really well, I'm just going to make sure that, so it looks pretty good. I'm going to make sure that this is fine. Yes. So that's fine. So let's see, does that look centered? I think that's good. And you can press it down really well. Good. All right, let's stick the little box. So I thought the little box of Kleenex under here was just kind of a fun little surprise when you open it. And it's easy to cut out because it's mostly straight lines. I'm leaving a tiny little border around the edge. The only tricky part is going around the actual Kleenex, but that's not too bad. So, and you want to, when you're fussy cutting, kind of move the paper rather than moving the scissors. It seems to, I don't know why that works, but it seems to work better. Oops, I got a bit wiggly there, but that's all right. So most of it's just straight lines. Oops, sorry, I'm going off camera there. Okay, and we'll just pop that underneath. See, I want to adhesive this part. Now, on this one, oh, that's what I did. Okay. What I'm going to do, so it shows up a little bit better, I'm actually going to stick it down on a black matte layer. I'd forgotten I did that on the other one. So I'm going to stick it right in the corner here so I don't have to cut out very much. This is going to make it stand out a little bit and not kind of get lost. It's not going to take long. Let's just cut that like that. Otherwise, what I found when I did the other coloured one is it got a little bit lost against the patterned paper, but when I put it against another matte layer of cardstock, it it just makes it stand out just a touch more. A little bit of a point there. Let's trim that off. So now you see the difference it makes. It'll see, here's another one. I'll show you the difference. See, it gets a little bit lost, doesn't it? But if I have just the black layer, I think it makes it pop. So let's put some adhesive on the back there. There we go. And we can just stick this so that it's going to not show. It's just going to be poking over the, I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just kind of a fun touch when you open up. You have a little surprise. All right, so the only other things to do is put a little bit of ribbon on. And I'm using the lovely gingham ribbon, which carried over. We're all excited about that. Carried over from the previous annual catalogue. Actually, I think it was in a mini catalogue to start with, maybe. I'm not sure. And I'm just tying a knot here. I'm not going to do a bow because I'm not very good at tying bows and things like this. Let's see if I get it a bit straighter. And all fingers and thumbs. There we go. It was a bit twisted before. There we go. And I can just kind of adjust that down just a little bit. Cut off the ends. All right, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue there, a little bit of bling. So I'm going to use some of these black matte dots, which are some of my favorite. I'm going to trim that a little bit shorter. Right, and then I'm going to grab my, let's see, I was looking for my take your pick, oh here it is, my take your pick tool, and let's see here, I'm going to put, I think, one up here, a couple down here, just like that. And we can pull this down maybe a touch. There. Cute. All right, let me bring back the other ones to show you those. So here's the pastel one, and I used some linen thread, and these are the new in color gems. And I did a little bit of coloring, fresh freesia, just to match. And then I have the black one, and here's the black one, which is pull that ribbon down. Now this one I did just the tissue box and the vase, and I did a greeting on the front because there was a little bit more room, so you can decide. The only stamp I didn't use was the flowers. But anyway, I think that's a really fun, brighten up somebody's day if they weren't feeling well, to get something like this in the mail, don't you? So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please do click on the like and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my videos. And if you'd like to order any of the products, I'll have them listed all below. You can just go up to my website that's at the top of the screen there, and I'll have links from all the products too that'll take you straight to my store to make it easy. So anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.